How far can the principle of free speech be extended in a volatile and violent world? If there is one person who's battled the debate around that question, well, it's author Salman Rushdie, who spent more than a decade in hiding for his contentious and banned in India book, The Satanic Verses. Now, speaking to NDTV in London just ahead of the launch of his memoirs In the Fatwa Years, Rushdie says banning hate speech often ends glamorizing it. Asked about the anti-Islam online video that has triggered protests across the Arab world, including the assassination of the US ambassador to Libya, Rushdie argues that the video is disgusting, but to kill in its name even more so. Blaming America for the deeds of every individual is a fatal mistake.
Do you believe that the freedom of speech debate has actually been resolved anywhere in the world? Just look what's happened in Libya. There's a video that's perceived to be anti-Islam. By all accounts, it's distasteful. It's not even about art. It's just about hatred. And the American ambassador gets killed.
It would be obvious that I'm against acts of violence in the name of religion.
But I'm just saying, how do you resolve the
Well, I just don't want to comment on this too much, this case, because it's a little unclear what actually happened, you know. And now we see reports from America that this attack may have been planned,
Yeah.
may not be connected with this stupid film. It may actually have to do with the anniversary of 9/11 and be a kind of, jihadist attack on America. So let's wait and see. I'm not going to do the kind of Mitt Romney thing of shooting my mouth off when I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. The question is beyond this incident. The question is simply this. Is there something called hate speech which has to be treated differently from the right of an artist to express herself or himself?
Well, different countries have argued this differently.
Yes.
I mean, in England, for example, there is a Race Relations Act, which makes it illegal to indulge in racial hate speech. The American position, which is the First Amendment position, is different from that. The First Amendment defends all forms of speech, including hate speech, which is why the groups like the Ku Klux Klan are allowed to, utter their poisonous remark. What I've come to feel is that that's a better position than these restrictions, because hate doesn't cease to exist when you sweep it under the carpet. And in a way, it's better to see where it is, because then you can take it on. Sometimes when you ban it, you glamorize it. You give it the power of taboo, and it can actually strengthen that agenda.
But for instance, when an American sort of person who may exist otherwise on the lunatic fringe wants to burn religious texts, and the counter-argument made is, look, this could have a ripple effect in what's happening to American troops on the ground in Afghanistan. This is actually making a war much more difficult. It's costing lives.
Yeah,
what do you say then?
Well, I mean, look, I'm not in favor of burning books. The famous line of Heinrich Heine that is often quoted, where they burn books, they will afterwards burn people. Actually, that comes from a play called Al-Mansur, in which the book that is being burned is the Quran. So what he's talking about in that play is the wrongness of burning the Quran, because afterwards you will burn followers of the Quran.
Exactly.
So obviously, I think burning books is a terrible thing. I mean, when I saw my book being set on fire, it just a kind of terrible rage came out of me, because it's such an ugly act. The problem of liberty is that sometimes people do ugly things. People don't behave always well in a free society. But if you want a free society, it includes the right of people to behave badly. I mean, and also I think to respond to that with mayhem and murder, that's also a problem. I mean, that's to say, yes, this stupid thing on YouTube, I mean, it looks like the worst little clip ever made. It also now seems to be doubtful whether the full film actually even exists. It may be just this stupid clip on YouTube. The actors are saying they didn't know what they'd been asked to participate in. I mean, it's clearly a very highly manipulative incident. We don't even know who the filmmaker is, because he's hiding behind a secret identity. But it's more disgusting to attack and murder people who have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And this idea that somehow America, is responsible for the deeds of every American is a stupid mistake. In this case, is a fatal mistake.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for Retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.